Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be showing you how to make this simple ready to wear gown. I'll be showing you in details of how I cut and sew it from beginning to the end. So if you like this tutorial, continue watching this tutorial with me. Without wasting much of our time, let's get into the tutorial right now. So this is it before. Here is the gown. It's a very simple gown before I put stone on it. This is what I have. So let's get into the cutting right now. So here is our fabric. For this fabric, I use 1.5 yard of Mikado material. I use 1.5 yard of Mikado material for the gown, for the making of the simple gown that we are going to be cutting right now. I make use of 1.5 yards of the material. So the first thing you need to do is to fold your fabric into two, just the way I fold it right now, because it's already folded into two. And for the design, we use these pieces of, I use 1 dozen of this terry bush. It's called terry bush in my language. I use 12 pieces, which is 1 dozen. So let's put that aside and get into the cutting. So the first thing I did was to fold my fabric into two. Let me open the fabric for you to see again. Can you see? I fold it into two, just like this. Then after you are done folding it once, the next thing we are going to do now, because there's not going to be zipper at the back, that's why you can fold it just the way I fold it now. If there's going to be zipper, then you need to change your hand. You understand? But because there's no zipper, that's why I fold it like that. I'm cutting here because it's not straight, so I will not want anything that will cause the problem after cutting. So that's why I trim off this place. So after you are done folding your fabric, the next thing you need to do is to measure out the length you are working with. So for the length we are working with the length measurement of 38. We are working with the length measurement of 38. Then I'm going to add 2 inches to the length measurement for the folding at the down part and the joining at the shoulder. This is it right here. So I have 40 all together. Here I have 40 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out now. I'm going to go ahead and cut it. So I'm going to remove this. So after you are done with that, the next thing we are going to do now is to start taking our measurement one after the other. So on fold with me here, I have 13.5 on fold. Everything on fold, I have 13.5. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out the shoulder measurement. What is the person's shoulder measurement? What is the person's shoulder measurement? Our shoulder measurement is based on what we are making. I don't need shoulder measurements. That's why I don't measure the shoulder. But everything I have is 13.5. So this is the chest line. So I just mark out the chest line. Then from the chest line, I'll mark out the person bust measurement here. The person bust measurement plus, this is the half length. From the half length to our hip line, I use 7. From a half length to a hip line, I use 7. So I'm going to measure. Let me rule it out first before I commence with the measurement. This is the waistline. This is the hip line. And here is the chest line. Let me mark that out as well. Here is the chest line. So I have the chest line, the waistline, and the hip line. So at the chest line, I just measure the person chest measurements plus I measure out the person chest measurements plus sewing allowance. The person chest measurement plus sewing allowance. That's what you are going to, depending on the measurement you are working with. Today I'm working with the chest measurement of 40 and the waist measurement of 35 with the hip measurement of 42. That's what I'm making. So I just mark out the person chest measurement plus sewing allowance. So what I'm explaining here is that at this place you are just going to cuff it out. Since we are not cutting armhole, you are going to cuff it out just the way I do it. Just this way I do it. That's how you are going to go about it. So what do I have here altogether? I have 12 inches plus sewing allowance. So I'm going to mark out the same thing at the down part because it's not a fitted kind of gown. That's why if it's a fitted kind of gown, I cannot use the same thing I use for the hip for the down part, but it's a free top, it's a free gown. So that's why I use the same thing. So it just come down straight down from the hip line. It just comes straight down from the hip line. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut it out. So I'm going to cut what I have here. I'll cut it out before I move to the neckline. Before I move to the neckline. Yes. This is what I have here with me before I move to the neckline. Then, so for the neckline now, for the neckline, I'll be using 4 by I'll be using 4 by 1. For the back neckline, I'll be using 4 by 1. So I'm going to cut both together, the back and front. So after cutting it like this, I will remove the back piece. So let me just remove the back piece. Then we are going to go ahead and cut the front neckline. That's how I always cut my ready to wear. Even if it's not ready to wear, if you are working with kaftan, something like this is the same way you are going to cut it. So I'm just trying to arrange the neckline very well. Just trying to arrange it. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to measure out the neckline I'll be using. So I'll be using V kind of neckline. So I'll be using 4 by 7 for the 4 by 7 for the front neckline. So I'm just trying to shock it out right here. So here is it. This is what you are going to have after you are done cutting it. This is what you are going to have. The material I use is Mikado material. So I'm going to put this aside first, but before that I'm going to measure. Let me first put it aside and cut the sleeve, because I'm going to be adding to the sleeve length. The sleeve length is not enough for what I want to do, so I'm going to add to the sleeve length. How do you calculate that? This is what I have here. I have 10 with me here, and you know I'm still going to join the shoulder, so I will have 9.5. 9.5 times 2 will give us 19. 9.5 times 2 will give us 19. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to cut out 20. I'm going to add half inches to it, so I'll cut 20 by 20 by 3 inches on fold. That is what I'll be cutting out right now for both sleeve. I will cut out 20 by 3 on fold. So I'm just trying to measure it out. 20 by 3 on fold because I fold it. So if you open it, it's going to give you 6. That's what I'll be using. So I'll cut it out. This is for one sleeve. Then I'm going to cut another piece, making 2 pieces. I'll be showing you how I'm going to do it because this tutorial is for cutting and sewing. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you guys how I cut and how I sew it. Or peradventure, I can just decide to do the only cutting here. Then I will do another tutorial of how I sew it depending on the time of this tutorial. Depending on the time, I don't know how many minutes it's going to be. So the next thing I'm doing now is to cut the facing for the back piece. Just place the front your main fabric and fold another pieces of fabric. Just watch how I'm going to do it. This is it I'm cutting right now. This is for the back piece. This is for the back piece. This is for the facing. This is what I'll be using to turn the neckline of the back piece. So I'm going to put that aside. Then I'll go ahead and cut for the front piece. I'll be cutting facing for the front piece as well. I'll be cutting facing for the front piece. So what I did was just to go ahead and place it on top of each other and cut it out. So this, can you see the way I'm cutting it? Just follow the procedure of how I'm doing it, and because it's a simple style, it's something that you can make within cutting and sewing within 1 hour. You are done with it. So that is that. We are done cutting our fabric. We have already cut the body, we cut this joining for the sleeve, and we have already cut our facing. So we are done with the cutting. So now we move to the machine. So that means I'll be showing you how, because there is still enough time, so I'll be showing you how I sew it too as well in this particular video. So this is the sleeve, the one we are adding to the sleeve that I said earlier that we cut 20 by 6 inches on fold. Sorry, 20 by 3 inches on fold. That will give us 6 inches. So first and foremost is that I fold it into 2, then I stitch it down before I'm going to add it to the. I'll be showing you how I sew it in details. Like I'll be showing you everything I'll be doing in details in this tutorial from the beginning to the end. So this is the second piece. Here is the second piece. So I'm just going to fold it. After folding it, then I'll move to the main fabric. And for the main fabric, the first thing I'm going to do was to turn both neckline. I'm going to use my facing. I'm going to be using my facing to turn the neckline. So here is the front piece. Here is the front piece. Just place it on top of each other and sew it down. Can you see? So I just raise my machine up so that I'll be able to change the, and then I'm going to go ahead. So after doing it, you are going to notch it. You are going to notch the center part, and then this is the back piece. So I'm just going to repeat the same thing for the back piece. I'm going to sew the neckline. After sewing the neckline, I'll go ahead and stitch down the pieces I'm adding to it, the facing. I'll stitch it down. Can you see? So I just stitch it down. This is the back piece, and here is the front piece. Here is the front piece. So I'm going to go ahead and fold the edge of the front piece as well, so that it will make your work to be neater, to make your work to be neat, so that to make your work to be neat. So after sewing it, this is what you have. So the next thing we are going to do now is to join the neckline. So what you are going to do is that just watch this carefully and see how I'm going to join the neckline. Place it on top of each other and use one. You are going to use one to turn the other. You are going to use one to turn the other one. Just watch how I'm going to do it, so that it will make your work to be neater. So place it like this and stitch it down. So you're going to stitch it down. So it will make your work to be neater. That's how you're going to join this piece now. So this is it. So I'm going to open it now. So I'll open it for you to see. So after you join it finish, this is how the inside should look like. This is how the inside should look like. So after you are done with this, with the first, you are going to repeat the same thing for the second shoulder, joining of your shoulder. So this is it after joining the shoulder. This is what I have. Here is how the neck look like after joining the shoulder. So before I take it for ironing, I would like to join the hair. I would like to add this piece to the sleeve length. So just place it on top of each other and stitch it straight down. That is it. This is very simple. So this is it after sewing it. This is how it's going to look like. So you are going to repeat the same thing for the second sleeve as well. You're going to repeat, just stitch it straight down. Then later I'm going to take it for weaving and weave all the inside. I'm going to weave all the inside. This is it. I just bring it to the table, place it on top of each other. So I'm going to trim off the excess now. I'll trim off all the excess. You know, when I want to cut it, I cut 20 for the joining of the sleeve. So definitely there's going to be excess because it's supposed to be 19.5. So I'm just trying to trim off the excess. Then this is it. So I'm going to go ahead now and just stitch it down. I'm going to stitch the side down. With just 1 inches on both sides. I'll stitch it down with just 1 inches on both sides. So I'm just trying to arrange it. So what do I have here? So you can just go ahead and take all your necessary measurements on the table before you move to the machine. Take all your necessary measurements on the table before you move to the machine, so that by the time you make it, everything will be so perfect. That's what I'm doing right now, trying to mark it out before I move to the machine. So here I am. What I mark out earlier, I'm going to sew it now. So I'll just sew it straight down. So I'm done stitching it down. So the next thing we are going to do now is the down parts. So I would like you to watch the way I'm going to do the down parts carefully. I would like you to watch the way I'm going to go about the down parts. Here is the down parts. So I'm going to measure out what I have at the down part. How many inches is it? This is our this is what we are using for the down part, and at the down part, everything I have with me here is 24. 24 divided by 2 will give us 12. So I first of all, I think of using 4 inches, but later I find out that if I use 4 inches, it will be too much, like it will be too small. So I later changed my mind and used 3 1/4. Yes, I later used 3 1/4 for the distance between the design I put at the down parts. So this is it. Let's get into how I do it. It is after I'm done sewing it that I'm going to take it for weaving. I'm going to weave all the inside. I will show you how to go about it when the time comes. So just fold it, fold your fabric. Just watch how I'm going to do it too. Fold your fabric as shown. Then you will start putting your one after the other. This is it. So I just put it, but make sure that you fold your fabric in just like you are folding your normal dress. So then you are going to put it inside and stitch it down with it. Since I already mark out all the place I'll be putting it in, so it makes it super easy. So when I get to the place I already mark out, I'll just put it in. Can you see? This is it. So just stitch it down. So I'm almost done with what I'm doing. I'm almost done. So immediately I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and start weaving it. So I'm done with the sewing, and here I am trying to weave all the inside, all the seam inside of our fabric. trying to weave it. Can you see? So make sure that anytime you make any dress, make sure that you weave it so that it will make your work to be very, very neat. You understand? So after I'm done with the weaving, the next thing I'm going to do is to fix my stone at the front side. I'm going to fix the stone when I'm done with the weaving. So this is it after I'm done sewing it. This is what I have after I'm done sewing it. I already iron everything here. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to put the stone. I'm going to put the stone, and this is the stone that I already arranged and put, and I already put it on the, so this is it. So I'm going to go ahead now and fix it at the neckline. So after arranging it like this, I'll take it to the ironing table and iron it down. I'll take it to the ironing table, and after much work, this is what we got after sewing it together. This is what we got. So thank you so much for watching the tutorial, guys. Don't forget to leave your comments in the comment section, and don't forget to like this video so that YouTube will be able to push out this video to the right audience. Thanks so much for watching the channel. God bless you, and see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye.